Are we live?
Yep.
Hey, it's Chris, Homestead and the Hard Way. And this is our pig hog pen video. There's a difference between a pig pen and a hog pen. I've been watching YouTube a little bit, and this area that needs some attention. Anyway, we're going to show you how we do it. Watch out there. This is a pig pen. That pen is 16 foot long and 8 foot wide. And it's a hog panel top. And it's for small pigs. It's for pigs maybe a size bigger than those. They're almost getting big enough they can get out. Mike can show you. But pigs can jump, pigs can climb. Don't ever let anybody tell you they can't. They can't. But we finally figured out a way to build a little small hog operation that works pretty smooth. And I just want to share it with you. We have a farrowing pen and house over here. It's not completed. We just moved it up here from down the hill. But the pigs are going to be born in this pen. Stay in it with their mama for a little while. Then we're going to move them to this pen. Hopefully there'll be 10 or 12 of them. A full litter of pigs. We'll thin them out in here. We're going to sell some for feeder pigs. We're going to sell some for people to show and sell. And we're going to barbecue a few of them. And hopefully you'll end up with 3 or 4 lives. That's about how many we usually top out at the time. And then we're going to move them over here once they get about 100 pounds. This is a hog pen. Now the difference and I'm sorry, I've got to be looking directly at the camera, you can't hear me. But the difference between a hog pen and a pig pen is how strong you build it. When they're small, you can get away with a low fence, just a hog panel top, and T-post and a small shelter because you're dealing with small hogs. These shelters are low for a reason. Driving rain won't blow under them so bad, and they do help probably hold a little bit of heat in the wintertime. We're in the south, so we're not so worried about cold in the winter. It don't really get that cold here. We worry about it being hot in the summer. Your hog pen, you got to have a bigger shelter, deeper shelter. Your fence has got to be getting pretty close to 4 foot tall, 3.5, 4 foot tall. Like I said, don't ever let anybody tell you a pig can't climb and a pig can't jump, because they can't. Some quick tips on building your hog pen. We'll start with a gate. You've got to build a good, strong gate. If you've got a welder, if you can weld, or if you got a friend that can weld, or a neighbor, get them to build you a metal gate. Or build you a metal gate. If you build a wooden gate, build it solid. A 2x4 frame, plywood, something solid. Run panels around inside of your shelters. Let the panel go all the way down to size and build a shelter over top of it. Pigs can go through the side of a shelter, especially a big pig. You want to put a post, go ahead and bury your post. These posts are 6 foot tall. Now I'm a little over 6 foot tall, so you see how deep they're in the ground. Go ahead and bury your post. It's about 3.5 foot sticking out. Put a post every 4 foot. It's important. You've got to put a post every 4 foot. A good post every 4 foot. Now get them about 3.5 foot in the ground. Go ahead and bury them. Put the post on the outside of the panel. These are all things I've learned the hard way. It don't work if you don't do it right. But put the post on the outside of the panel, not on the inside. The corners is hard to do that because it's got to be inside to make the corner. On the smaller pigs, that's not a problem. On this little pen, the poster on the inside, just because, honestly, I screwed up when I built it. But I was thinking, too, I don't know what I did wrong. Somebody didn't do it right. That's not the issue. These little pigs, they won't really push these staples out. If you'll drive the staple in at an angle and put enough of them, they'll be there. But with your big hogs in the corners, there's a couple things you do. You can wrap a chain around it in 2 places and put a lag bolt through it. Or you can get some plate strips of steel, drill a couple holes in it, and lag bolt it over the panel. You don't have to do it in a couple places. You don't have to do the whole thing. Because a big hog will push those staples out and get out. And I've been watching some YouTube videos on people, and I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I don't know everything, and I watch some videos, see how other people do things, trying to learn something. Same thing I've been doing now. But I've seen a lot of misinformation, a lot of stuff that won't work. Try not to build your hog pens out of pallets. Don't use dog pen wire. A hog will get out. They're destructive. They tear up the world. Just try to build a substantial barrier. I don't like electric fences up here because I've got to lean over them to feed them. I've got to get in and out of the pens. Our breeding stock we play with, try to keep it where you can handle it. And these little low fences I can reach over. This is our new boar. And I can reach over and pet him and mess with him and keep him where I'm handling. He's not scared of me. If I need to load him on a trailer, if I need to move him from one pen to the other, he's easy to handle. He's not scared of me. I don't beat him with sticks. I don't poke him with pitchforks. I don't use hot shocks on him. I got a little stick over there. I kind of nudge him around a little bit and a cutting board. If you calm with them and treat them like you got some sense, the easier you are with them, most time the easier they'll be with you. Another important thing is I don't know if she can give you a view of this or not. We're losing the light. The only time we had to shoot these videos is at dark. But my loading chute, and the loading chute's important. That's something you got to have. We learned that the hard way too. My loading chute goes from in between these 2 shelters over here. She'll show you that.
Tell them and I'll go around.
Well, she wants to let me tell you, and then she'll show you. That'll work. But it goes all the way around this load pen. It goes out over there. So when you load out, the trailer backs up over there. And I built these gates so we can get in and out. But what it does a few things. One, if I need to move a pig from here to here, or wherever, I can do it just about by myself. Probably by myself. And if these pigs here, with this low fence, if they do happen to jump it, they're still inside. They can't get out. It's probably a good idea to have something like this all the way around your hog pen. In fact, I'm thinking if I come up with enough panels, we ain't got much of a hog pen budget. If I come up with enough posts and panels, I may run this all the way around everything. So I've got a 2 fence system. That way if something does tear out, they ain't out. They're just inside the loading chute. Now we went with hot wire on this fairing pen over here.
This is the chute and the fairing pin.
But now the reason I went with hot wire on this is the sow with pigs can be a little difficult to manage. If you've got to trim pigs and they get to squealing, the sow can get real upset real fast. And that hot wire, it ain't on now, but it'll keep her in. And if you just want to make sure your top hogs don't get out, this is a good way to do it too. Just a hot wire on top of a panel. And then come in here, about 14 inches off the ground. You might could go as high as 16. But about between, well, we'll say between 12 inches and 16 inches off the ground, your choice. And go around the inside, use the insulators to space it off from the fence some. And go around the inside with another hot wire at the bottom. It's be pretty tough for them to get out then. We've never had much trouble with them staying in the hog panels other than climbing them. And anything will stop that. I use barbed wire on this pin over here because it's all we had. And around here we got to use what we got.
And this is showing you where we back the trailer up, and it stays blocked off most of the time with a cow panel.
And y'all have probably seen all of it with her walking around, but you need a ramp that comes up like a wheelchair ramp to get the pig to the height of the trailer. They don't like to step up in the trailer. You need a ramp to get them up high as the trailer. We just had a little screw up there. I don't know if you'll be able to edit it out or not, but we're not good at editing. But you got to get them up to the height of the trailer. Here, like somebody wants to buy one of those pigs, I'll take the cutting board and jam him up in the corner and grab him by a back leg and chunk him in the back of the truck. And my big hogs are loaded. We have to move them from one side of the farm to the other. The big hog pens down the hill. And they get loaded, and they're easy to load. You get a honey bun and throw it on the trailer, and they walk on it to get it. So if I do have to move out like a whole litter of pigs, I'll bury the tires on the trailer. But a ramp would help you if you had a bunch of them, but no more than we got. We get by like that. Here's the truth about your pig pens. They don't have to be as big as you think they do. And this is directed more towards like a homestead or somebody raising some pigs to eat more so than somebody in a commercial pork operation. But if your goal is just to have you a pig pen to feed you out 2 pigs to butcher, this pen here is plenty big enough to raise 2 from the day you bought them to the day you killed them. This it's 20 foot long and 16 foot wide, and it's big enough for 5 or 6 top hogs up to about 275, 300 pounds. There's plenty of shelter for them, and they got plenty of room. That's what your pig pen is going to look like. Now this one's a little wetter than normal because we just got through washing out water troughs. It's rained for the last 2 days. But they're going to get muddy, don't panic. As long as they've got somewhere dry to get. As long as it's dry under the shelter, and it's not standing water over the whole thing, where they've got some dry places to get out the water. That's more important in the winter than in the summer. In the summer, they'd be just as tickled if it was just a pond. But they got to have somewhere dry and warm to get. You don't really want them walking around in ankle-deep mud in the whole pen. They'll stay out of the places that's uncomfortable. And there's enough room in their top house of pigs. I know a lot of people tell you that ain't true. I've heard a lot of different opinions on hog pens. I've seen people raising them in dog crates. That bothers me a little bit. I don't like that. And I've seen people that said that if you didn't have an acre to fence up, you didn't need 2 pigs. An acre was how much you needed for 2 pigs. They're going to root it up. They're going to make a mud hole out in it. They're going to destroy it. If you give them enough time, they'll tear the whole place up for you. You're better off to have them in a smaller pen. They're easier to handle, easier to feed, easier to look after. And maybe have a couple of small pens and move them. When this one gets so nasty you can't do anything with it, just move them into one beside it. If you can afford to build them. Cost on a hog pen. One that size, if you can scrounge up some of it, it only takes 2 panels to build. 3 panels, I'm sorry, 3 panels. You got to have one down each side, and one split. Well, you'll have more. When you go to cutting them to put your gate in, however you do that, you have to think about it a little bit. Because a 16-foot panel won't cut in 2 8-foot pieces. These bars, there's one at 8 foot in the center. So when you cut it, you won't end up with 2 equal pieces, but you can figure out how to, you may have to make the back do like this, just 2 inches on each side to make up for it, but you can figure it out. Panels about $25 a piece. Sometimes you catch them on sale, $15 a piece. You buy them at the wrong place for $35. I don't know what stuff costs everywhere, but they're not real expensive. We scrounged up most of this one, so I can't really tell you how much we got in it. It's a couple $100. The tin to cover it with and sheet it with will cost you more than anything else. If you can't find any used tin's fine to go around the outside, but you got to have new tin on top. One this size, and a lot of this depends on how much of it you can come up with, how much of it you had to buy. But if I was just going to raise 2 pigs to eat, this would be all I'd be. And I'd do a little one-sided load and shoot down the side of it where I could run them out this door and down the hall to the shelter, to the trailer. But it don't take that much. It don't take that much. Now, if you're trying to go into full-blown hog production, that's a totally different story. And I can tell you that. Leave something in the comments asking about it, and I'll tell you how to do that. That's what my daddy did his whole life. But that's a totally different ball game. That involves field fencing, hog wire, fencing in 10 acres, hog feeders, mobile shell. I mean, that's a totally different ball game. This is directed at somebody that may be thinking about keeping 1 or 2 sows. Now, somebody's talking about going into full-blown professional hog production. We're not commercial hog farmers. We just have a few extra pigs to sell. It's probably a better way to put it. But this works good. We have finally got a little scenario up here that works good. It's not muddy, it's not nasty, it's convenient. It works good. Water control is an issue too. You'll make enough of a mess cleaning out water troughs. This has got a little ditch water fur. It's got to run through this pen. I may try to run it around behind that one or something, but it runs out to the cow pasture. Gives you some water control, so it don't turn into a mud hole. If you'll see the standing water in there, I'll show you. I don't know if they can see that hole there, but they'll dig a hole 2 or 3 foot deep. It's one of the reasons why you bury your post deep, because a pig go right beside it and dig to the bottom of it. They'll tear up the world now. We make our own feed and water troughs out of plastic. I used to make them out of metal, and they rust out bad. So I started making them out of plastic. If you can get some concrete, this is something that'll help you a whole lot. Concrete under your shelters and concrete to put the feeders and waterers on would be a big help. Automatic waters. I'm just sitting here trying to think of things I need to touch on, but automatic waters, they work good until they break them off and make a terrible, horrible mess for you to come home to. And if you got it hooked to your water system and they break one off, it sits there and runs water from the time you left that morning till you get back. And breaking stuff's their hobby. So we water ours in these plastic troughs, and they'll dump them out. You can try to lay in them and everything else, but they work pretty good. But if you could put them on a concrete slab, a pretty good sized concrete slab, thick slab. This one's on a slab. This is one of those old air conditioner slabs like they used to use in big outside units. And this all, I'm a big guy, and this all I can handle. I got to kind of walk it in place and drop it. But a grown hog, she'll pick it up and throw it over the fence with a barrel on. But you're not going to have to worry about that if you're just getting feeder pigs. You're going to kill them between 200 and 300 pounds. They're not going to, at that size, they're just not strong enough yet to really tear up the work. Little pigs like this, we don't have that much trouble with them. If you'd make this fence taller, one pig could live in a pen this size his whole life. Like, you know, a slaughter pig. Now, we ain't saying raise up an 800-pound bull, but if you're going to kill him at 220, 250 pounds, one pig will stay in this pen, be happy, have plenty of room, no problem. You know, you're not shooting for a commercial hog farm type situation where there's 150 pigs in a 30 by 30 square, where they don't have room to do anything but walk to the feeder, walking through each other, and walk to a water or walking through each other. I mean, you want them to have some room, but they don't have to have the whole world. And I know this free range stuff is a big deal now, but in reality, well, it works, Jake, but it just don't, it's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary. Now, a pig likes to have some green grass to eat, and we sow stuff. When there's no pigs in here, we'll go in there and plant the leftover seeds out of the gardens, and we put pigs in there that got stuff to eat. I like for them to have some grass too, but what I do is go out here in the edge of the field and pull up the pig weeds and pull up the old Japanese clover and bring it up here and throw it in there and give it to them. I like to have pigs in the summertime and the spring when the garden's coming off. That way we feed them everything comes out the garden. That's what I shoot for, is to have pigs in the spring. Everybody else wants them in the winter when they ain't got nothing to feed them. And that's kind of the situation we're in now. But I mean, we're making our own hog feed. That may be more of a step than you want to take on, but I'll touch on that right quick. Going to that feed mill, Tractor Supply, and buying a bag of cracked corn and a bag of oats and a bag of wheat or whatever it is these people buy, carrying it home, mixing it together, is not making hog feed. I just had a talk with a boy last week, asked me to go look at his pigs. They were having a lot of trouble with them. Just won't grow it. I'm trying to look some light in case you're wondering what I'm doing. She's telling me it's dark. But anyways, pigs just won't grow. And I asked him, I said, what are you feeding them? He said, well, I'm feeding them all they'll eat. I said, well, okay, what are you feeding them? We went there and looked, and he's soaking corn, and he's doing, he saw a YouTube video, he showed me the video, where he's mixing these different kinds of grains together. People doing it for chickens too. They're mixing these different kinds of grains together, and they're soaking it in a bucket full of water, and they're giving it to the pigs, and the pigs ain't growing. The reason the pigs ain't growing is they don't have any supplement. They don't have any vitamins, minerals, protein. All that stuff comes in a bag of supplement that you mix with ground corn or corn and soybean meal or corn or whatever else you want to give them, but they got to have the vitamins and minerals. A pig out here in the wild, they're not vegetarians either. If you had look at old feral pigs. A feral pig eat that cow if they get the chance.
They'll eat anything.
Well, he's right. They'll eat anything. Eat worms and snails and grubs and fish and carrion, and they say they'll catch fawn deer and kill them and eat them. I mean, pigs have got to have proper nutrition, and you're not getting it mixing different grains together. Now, if you're feeding them that and a bunch of old produce and sweet potatoes, they still need the supplement. That's important. Just stuff people telling you ain't right. Chickens. People doing the same thing for chickens. They're mixing 4 or 5 different kinds of grain together and soaking it with water. You're having to soak it with water because they can't digest it. They can't chew it up. Chicken can't chew it up at all. They don't have any grit. And they're worried about GMO corn and this and that. Well, there might be something about GMO corn, but there'll be another video we'll talk about GMOs. There's a lot of misconceptions and myths and stuff people heard on TV that they just believed about GMOs and stuff. Well, if you knew the truth, it would shock you, and I know the truth. But most of it's nonsense, by the way. But just, you know, feed your animals. Either figure out a way to actually make some feed. Just that meets the nutritional requirements. Or go buy a feed that meets their nutritional requirements. You can buy regular feed that's not, if that's your thing and you just don't want GMOs, which good luck escaping them, but if that's your thing, go buy feed that says it's not a GMO feed. But they have got to have the vitamin supplement, mineral supplement, and the protein. It sounds like we got one of them might need some Robitussin. But just little things that people don't tell you. And I'm pretty sure I left something out, but we're out of daylight. But if I taught you anything at all, if you want to help us out there a bit, share, subscribe, put it on social media, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell anybody to listen. Stop people on the street, say, hey, you heard about this YouTube channel? And just remember, we're kind of non-profit. We're not monetized, don't have any notion to do it anytime soon. We may do it one day, but we ain't, well, I don't know if we even could right now if we tried, but the money ain't why we're doing this. We're doing this as a public service. I have a lot of respect for anybody that wants to try to do this stuff, that wants to try to raise their own food. It's a tradition around here. We've always done it. And if you're trying to learn how, I want to help you. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you do good. And I'm not claiming to know everything. There's 1,000 things. There's 100,000,000 things I don't know. I'm definitely far from the smartest man in the world. But I've been doing this my whole life. And what I do know, I learned the hard way. I had an advantage. The older people around me telling me how to do it, and I didn't listen. I knew more than they did, and tried different things, and tried stuff people told me. And just remember, there's a lot of people tell you stuff that ain't true. And they don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to put a video up to get a view. And get a view to make money off an ad. That ain't what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach you something, and I think this may help you a little bit. But if we helped you at all, like I said, try to spread it around. You can punch in the title to one of our videos on YouTube, it don't even come up. We don't know how that works, but we know we're not getting a lot of exposure. But I would appreciate it, and just remember, you'll never plow a field by turning it over in your mind. And if you want to do this, you're very capable. Just get up and go do it. Scrounge up a little bit of money and get started, and you can make it happen. But we got to go finish feeding up and go in the house. But y'all have a good evening now. Thank you.